Hey Shah, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Jackie?
Great, great. Good morning, everybody. This is Jackie Calise from CTA Digital Marketing, and today I have Shah Gunther from Gunther Services, and we're going to be talking about bookkeeping. And a lot of people probably think about bookkeeping, maybe Excel spreadsheets, numbers, but it's a little bit more than that. So Shah is going to break it down for us. Tell me a little bit about your business, Shah.
So, thank you for today. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. Gunther Services was created just over 10 years ago after I sold another business I was involved in. And at the time, I noticed a gap within small business and administration. So small companies get to a point where they need assistance, but they can only offer part-time hours. And from your worker standpoint, it's not reasonable with income to work a part-time job, because then you're going to have two or three. So what I did is I created Gunther Services to fill that gap. And then we also take on education. It started with administration and bookkeeping, and then just slowly evolved within just bookkeeping, because we found a lot of positive feedback within educating our clients. So we look at the whole story. So that's what Gunther Services is.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I loved talking to you about your what you do and learning about it, because for me, I'm scared of numbers, and a lot of small business owners are scared of numbers. Mm-hmm. I had a huge aha moment when you were talking to me about it and exactly what it is. So I want to know, how do you help small businesses if somebody needed your services?
So how we help them is usually we have a 3-step process. And the first step is a discovery phase. So we get to know who you are, what the business is about, and why you're doing what you're doing. And within that, I listen and pull out pieces that are actionable items, because as a business owner, a lot of times, and especially with developing a business, whether it's a startup or whether you're grossing 300,000, whether you're grossing 1.5 million, sometimes you're working too much in the details that you don't really see the outside of it. So us coming in from the outside in the discovery phase, we're able to see the areas where you are focusing your energy, but you shouldn't be focusing your energy. So through that, we kind of act as kind of a bookkeeping coach, and we take the fear out of the numbers. I don't even show you numbers until it's important. So that's how we go into it. The second step of our phase from discovery is alignment. We then align your goals with actionable steps that can accomplish what you need. And then we then move into the maintenance phase, which is just the monthly bookkeeping with the financials. And that's how we do what we do.
And that's so cool, because I think a lot of people don't understand that they're all over the place. Business owners are all over the place. I currently do websites, and I was talking to a client who is a singer. She writes books. She's a motivation coach. She's doing about 10 different things. She's got 3 different websites, all the social media, and then she's not making any money. So
in a situation that we find a lot of that, especially with the startups to the smaller to the mid-sized businesses, before you start reaching like your 500,000, 600,000, a business owner hasn't necessarily focused on their niche, because and I've done it, right? But so when I first started Gunther Services, it was like, oh, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this. And a client would come over and they're like, well, we can, we need this. So of course you're going to yes, we can help. We want to do everything. And we see a lot of that. However, doing a lot isn't a problem, because as entrepreneurs, we can all do more than most of the average non-entrepreneur. But it's more so focused. If you take the top 3 areas where you're generating the most revenue, sure, you can do everything, right? But if you take the top 3 areas and focus your efforts in developing strong processes within those 3 revenue sources, you actually profit more. So then you actually set up a plan to start up your 4th, your 5th, your 6th revenue line item. So it's not that we stopped doing that. We just stopped bringing on more of those extra items.
And then we focus more. We have a visual on what actually brings the money in.
Yes.
So you get people to focus on the numbers and say, this is where you're making the money. This is how you're going to grow, and focus on that. And then after you have that stabilized, then you can bring in the other stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. That's, for me, that's life changing, because I have to admit I'm one of those who's all over the place too. Do you have any kind of specials or promotions that you run, and how do you take clients on?
I don't usually offer specials. Specials, one of the, I guess, the add-ons, the value items that we do is we do a no-charge discovery phase. Within about 15 minutes of a conversation with somebody, I can kind of depict whether they're either one, focused, or whether they're ready. And within 45 minutes, we have an actionable item of whether to move forward or not with the proposal stage. So that's the benefit, the survey, the add-on special, I guess. You can say we don't charge for the discovery phase.
And then can you give me like an example of a small client and how you'd work with them, and then one of your larger clients and how that looks like?
Yeah. So smaller clients can range anywhere from a brand new startup, just kind of needing to pick some ideas on how to properly set that up. And we can provide a few items, bullet point items. Usually it's about 3 bullet point items and what they need to focus on to get started, who they need to file their paperwork with, what they need to get started doing, what state, who they need to talk to for that next information, who's going to benefit them for that next learning. So smaller client example, had a friend of mine who is a writer come to me and like, hey, let's just take a look, right? And started taking a look, and now the names and the numbers are obviously changed, but the example is the same for confidentiality purposes. But we find a lot of these. So a friend of mine was filing her taxes, and they're categorizing her as a hobby income because she wasn't making but probably $3,000 a year. And I was able to take what she was good at, organize it into 3 service areas, tell her, focus on this. This is all you're doing. She was able to focus on that. And within the first quarter of this year, she went from $3,000 for an entire year to $9,000 in 1 quarter in income. So that's a smaller client we usually work with. The larger clients, they're usually grossing $500,000 up to $2.5 million, and every need is vastly different. How we help with those is they usually already have an individual who's in charge of their administration and their bookkeeping. We just come in and support the existing to keep the processes efficient, to do that second eye reconciliation at the end of the month with the financials, and then to even act as a liaison to communicate within the CPA and the banker to help guide, the office assistant or the office manager. This is what is needed. This is how you get that. Let me know if you need additional assistance for us to either do the work with you, or I can tell you how to do it and you can do it yourself. So those are 2 examples.
I love it, because when I talked to you, I was thinking, okay, we're going to be talking about spreadsheets. And then you asked me such an interesting thing. You said, where's the numbers for this year? How much do you want to be making personally and as a business? And then you broke it down what the number was. So let's say I wanted to make $250,000 at the end of the year. Then you divided that by 12. And then depending on the contract, you were able to say, so for you to reach that goal, you have to have 16 clients for the month, and then break it down to, okay, let's do it for a week. That's 4 clients per week. And when you broke it down like that, I was like, oh my God, that's completely doable. I can do that. I don't have to focus on anything but trying to get 4 clients a week. And do I have those contacts? Yes, I do have those contacts, in the sense that I've built those relationships and I just have to bring them on. So I thank you for that. That's really a big deal, instead of just kind of calling and not really understanding where my numbers are.
And when that happens, something else happens in the subconscious as well. So it's not only are we just numbers, we also deal with more of the mindset, and like there's a psychology behind it as well. So when you break down the large chocolate cake, like all of us entrepreneurs have our large chocolate cake, which is those numbers. That's our end goal numbers. How much do you want to make for the year? And there's two numbers, the personal and the business number. But a lot of people don't look at it right from two numbers. So when we separate those two, we're able to actually get their mind personally out of the business. Then because they're separate entities. Then from there, when you break out those numbers into monthly goals, you're actually cutting the cake, right? We're now cutting that chocolate cake into smaller segments. And then from there, we're putting it into like Tupperware bowls and then labeling it on Monday and Tuesday. And here's your dessert for this, right? So it's kind of like dividing up that dessert just so you can actually have that for the whole year versus just getting sick in one setting. So a lot of times then within the psychology of that, what happens is it allows you the space to say no. So now you want to make the 250, right? And anyone listening to this is can apply this as well. You want to make 250 for the year in the business. So now what you're able to do is break that down into monthly segments and then weekly segments, and then divide that into how much you charge per project. And then that will give you the total number of clients that you're going to need to make that up. So now let's say that your time, you can only manage, sure, it's 4 to reach 250, but can you realistically manage 6, right? Once you reach your personal threshold on how many clients you personally can manage, that allows you to say no and future schedule the next person. So let's say you get 7 clients coming into you one week. That allows you to schedule out your work so you're not going to miss any deadlines.
Oh my God. That's amazing. You're organizing the business owner to be able to better manage their time also, right?
Yes, as a direct result. So then that way they can constantly deliver, because all of us business owners, we just want to deliver and we want to meet expectations. And those expectations are usually set on by ourselves. And then when we don't deliver or something falls through the cracks, we then like question ourselves. Are we ready? Can we really do this? Yes, you can. You just have to know how much you can eat in one setting.
Oh my God. Another light bulb, right? So
my favorite part about what I do.
it's amazing because we just, for myself anyways, but I'm just taking everything as it's coming towards me. And I haven't organized it. I haven't broken it down. I haven't to that kind of number where I understand the end goal. Like now this is going towards my time management too. And then what I liked about what you said too was you said it so for Fridays, you don't do anything else except get that number straight. So if it's about, the sales, getting the number that needs to create the consistent revenue, you dedicate one full day to get that goal accomplished.
Yes. So what I see, and that's another piece of self-awareness as business owners, we have to know where our threshold is. Mm-hmm. One of my areas of weakness is I'm really great at getting things done. I'm really great at running. I'm really bad at training. So my staff gets frustrated, and I can tell when they're getting frustrated with me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not getting you what you need. So I actually decided to take Fridays off from external work or delivering financials or whatever to internal focus as to, okay, what am I not getting my team? What am I not getting my clients? What am I not focusing on within my numbers in order to reach that next stage? Because I do want to build, I want to grow. My goal for Gunther Services is to be in every state in the US doing bookkeeping and assistance work. So we just started that yesterday. We just got our first client in another state yesterday. So being able to sit down and focus on what those items are and where you're lacking helps you focus on where to make the positive change. So
that's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time out to educate us about bookkeeping and understanding that it's not just transactional. It's a big part of it. It's goal setting and mindset, and also time management. And in the end, what it leads to is making more profit for your business. So all this align into growing and sustaining your business. So it's definitely really important. I always love learning about different aspects of businesses that I never really considered outside of my passion, because my passion is education with tools, technology, and then you end up learning all these other things that tie into running a business. So this has been fantastic. Thanks, Shah.
Yeah, thank you very much. The final point on that, and why we love working with different industries, and we've even loved working with you because you made an amazing website for us. We learn through our clients as well, and what they're good at and what they're passionate about. So there are things within our business that we don't want to focus on. We hand it out to our people.
And thank you. Thank you for letting me design your website for you.
Yeah.
You've been an absolute perfect client. Like you were so organized. Every time I said I needed something, it was bam, 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 bam. And then we finished it like in 2-3 weeks, we got your website up and running. But a big part of it is because you're so organized.
Getting people what they need when they need it is the first step in accomplishing the small tasks. So getting the results done that you want. So thank you.
It's difficult. I work with small businesses, so I know
Well,
the challenges.
Yes. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah. I really appreciate your time and the opportunity to speak with you today.
It was a pleasure, Shara. It was really a pleasure. Everybody, thank you, and we'll talk to you next week. Please reach out to Shah. She's got her information here. Let me just make sure I have it. I know I have it. Here we go. So there's her website, guntherservices.com, and her phone number. So please reach out to her and know your numbers if you want to grow your business. Thank you, everybody.